You can actually become a Cardano millionaire this cycle, and there's proof in the pudding. These are not just false claims. We've seen it happen in 2023, we've seen it happen in 2024, and we saw it happen last cycle, both on just buying into ADA or people in other chains doing other things, investing in different tokens like Uniswap, PancakeSwap, Aave, all of these things. Millionaires were born, millionaires were made. So in this video, I want to show you how people have done this in the past. We're going to talk about that a little bit, but then what is the plan? In my opinion, there's 3 buckets that you fall into in order to become a Cardano millionaire, and each bucket, it gets relatively harder, and the buckets are going to be portfolio sizes. So we have a solution for everyone. Depending on your portfolio size, you might have to do more work or less work, because I think we all know if you have 100 grand, it's pretty easy to get to 10, or pretty easy to get to $1 million. If you're starting with $1,000, you're going to have a lot harder time, and different strategies are going to need to be used. Now, your Cardano millionaire status isn't going to happen overnight, but it takes a lot of accumulating things, right? Either you got to have a big portfolio, or you need to have a lot of plays happen over your smaller portfolio to get to that millionaire status. Something that has already happened in 2024 that could have had a substantial potential for you to make hundreds of thousands of dollars on was the Nike meme coin on Cardano. Now, you really had to be really early to this one, and that's pretty hard. You need to be paying attention on Twitter, you need to catch the wave, or you need to do this and that, or you need to buy Nike right now while it's on a major retracement from all-time highs if you still believe in the project. But people did make $1 million on Nike. Melon, a Cardano influencer, did make $1 million on Nike that was then burnt. Melon owns the Dex Hunter protocol, so the money's not really needed, but as a show of faith, the money was burned, but $1 million was made on a meme coin in a relatively short period of time. Pretty much like a week on Cardano made you $1 million. We saw this in 2023 also, where people like Goofy Crisp were very early, very early SNEC buyers. They probably have made or could have made $1 million. Many people made hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, and that is like a leading gateway to making $1 million this cycle. You can literally start with nothing, turn that into, $50,000, and then invest that into DeFi, and then make $1 million. So we saw this in 2024. We've had opportunities in 2023. And we can see historical proof in 2020 where, in 2019 or 2020 on the retracement in 2020, if people would have bought ADA back at that 3, 4, 10 cent area, they would have had a potential to 100x their money last cycle, which if you put $10,000 into ADA and it 100x's, that's $1 million. So that proof has been there in 2020 and 2021 as well. Also in 2020, we had major Ethereum tokens make people millionaires. We've all heard of Pro the Dodge, who put, I think he put like $200,000 into Dogecoin and made it like $3 million. There's Luke Belmar, who turned, a couple thousands of dollars into millions of dollars on PancakeSwap. And then we have major tokens like Uniswap and Aave, who did massive returns that definitely made people millionaires. So we've seen this in past cycles. If you go back even to Bitcoin in the very early stages, people are billionaires off of Bitcoin. So the history is there. The proof is there. How do you pivot yourself in the story, in today's history, and in today's ecosystems to make $1 million on Cardano? I see becoming a Cardano millionaire on a spectrum. There's 2 spectrums, and it's risk versus the amount of money that you have, okay? And so on the spectrum, you have one side that is low risk, but high money, high portfolio status, low risk. On the other side of the spectrum, you have a very small portfolio, but a very high risk. So risk and the size of your portfolio or the money you have are directly correlated in order to make $1 million. And that's a fundamental thing we need to set up here in order to kind of get into the mindset of what needs to happen for your portfolio. Now, you're going to fall into one of 3 buckets. Bucket 1 is going to be people with a larger portfolio. I call this the high bucket, and that's portfolios that are about $50,000 or more. Arguably, this is the easiest portfolio to become a Cardano millionaire. You buy ADA, or you buy ADA and a couple other Cardano native tokens, maybe at a 50-50 split, and you 10x your portfolio and get like $500,000, or you 20x it and you get like $750,000 or something like that, right? It's not very hard to get to $1 million if you start with 50K. The second bucket is called the medium bucket, and I feel like this is what the majority of my viewers are. Let me know in the comments if you think that's true or not. But based on some polls I've done on the channel in the communities tab, I think a lot of my viewers are here. And this is going to be the medium bucket. Now, by medium, I mean portfolios that are between $10,000 and $20,000. Now, you could give or take this a little bit. Maybe it goes down to like $7,000 or up to like $25,000, $30,000. but kind of around that $10,000 or $20,000 portfolio mark is a very interesting place to be. I feel like a lot of people have the potential to kind of get a $10,000 Cardano portfolio, whether you got to work a second job, whether you got to sell stuff, whether you got to kind of penny pinch or, not buy the new car, whatever you have to do. I feel like $10,000 is what a lot of people are trying to get portfolio wise. If you're in this category, I think what you should be aiming for is a total portfolio 100x, right? So if you got $10,000 and you can 100x it in the Cardano ecosystem, you can walk away this cycle with $1 million. Now, how do you make that happen? This is kind of my portfolio size around that, 20,000 area. And my big plan, or what I think the medium portfolio holders should do, is simply buy Cardano native tokens. In my opinion, in order to get the 100x, the majority of these people's portfolio, this medium bucket, you got to get rid of your ADA. It has to be into DeFi tokens that are going to leverage ADA, much like Aave and Uniswap did and PancakeSwap did on Ethereum and Binance Chain. So when Ethereum ran in 2020, it did massive, massive numbers. But Uniswap, Aave, PancakeSwap did even more numbers and made people millionaires. Cardano, I still think, has a 10x left in it between, $4 and $5. That's a great return, and you could turn $10,000 into $100,000 on that. But if you want to get to the millionaire status and you want to make that $1 million in Cardano this cycle, and you got like $10,000 or $20,000 in your portfolio, and you kind of fit this medium bucket avatar, what you're going to want to do is swap that ADA for Cardano native tokens that you think are fundamentally sound, safe, and good investments. Now, by Cardano native tokens, I mean like DEXs, DEX aggregators, lending protocols, infrastructure protocols, DeFi protocols, IAG, LendFi, Hunt, Indy, Liquid, MinSwap, MusliSwap, whatever tokens you like, NVL, right? These are the things you should be looking at, that people are going to come into the ecosystem this cycle and say, hey, I like what that product is. I think it's going to make money. I think it's a good business, and I want to buy some of that token. But you've already bought it back here while we're in this accumulation phase instead of on the rise up. The medium portfolio holders are also going to have to take more risk than the higher portfolio people because we simply need more returns. But we can still do this in a safe manner by buying into proven DeFi projects on Cardano. So if you're in the medium category, it's my personal opinion, and what I'm doing is to kind of get rid of all of my ADA and trade it for Cardano native assets. Right now is a great time to do it. You can buy, even if you want to buy SNEC or Nike as a percentage of your portfolio, that would be perfectly fine in my opinion, so long as you understand what you're investing in. So just to recap real quick before we get into the lowest portfolio section, if you're in the high portfolio section, you really need a 10x. That's all you need. So you can just buy ADA or buy some ADA and some DeFi tokens in Cardano. If you're in the medium category, between like a $10,000 to $20,000 portfolio, you really need a 100x. This is my portfolio. This is where I'm at. I need a 100x to be a millionaire in Cardano this cycle. So what I've done is I've swapped all my ADA, or the majority of my ADA, for DeFi tokens on Cardano that I really, really like. I still have about 2,000 ADA. I'm trying to figure out where to invest, and I haven't decided if I want to put it into IAG at this IAG level, or if I want to put it into Nike on this Nike dip. So let me know in the comments what you think about those. Those are my two options I'm playing with. I just don't know if Nike is going to come back as hard and fast as we want it to. Still watching both of those charts. I already hold IAG also. So do I want to add a meme coin to my portfolio? I haven't quite answered that yet. But the medium size portfolio people, you need a 100x. You probably need to be in DeFi instead of just ADA. Lastly, we have our low portfolio individuals, and that's going to be about $5,000 or less. If your portfolio is $5,000 or less and you want to make it to $1 million this cycle in ADA, what I would recommend is a couple things. First, I think you need to realize that you're going to have to get riskier than the medium and higher portfolio people. But there's another way you can view this. You can view this as, I don't need to hit $1 million this cycle because I can still get like $250,000 or $500,000 and be happy with my percentage returns. And then next cycle, I'll turn that into like $2 or $3 million. I think that's a great way to frame this. And if you have a smaller portfolio, say you got a couple hundred or a couple $1,000s, maybe you shouldn't expect to be a millionaire this cycle in Cardano. If you do expect to be a millionaire in Cardano this cycle, or if you want to give it your best shot, I think the best way you can go about it is, one, recognizing the risk that you have to take. Two, recognizing that you need to be more informed, more aggressive, and more strategized than a lot of the other investors. I take the approach, and I teach this in my 1-hour trading course down in the description, And this is more for individuals with like a $10,000 or $20,000 portfolio. But I teach the approach of the laid back investor, the 1 hour investor. I don't want to do work all the time. I don't want to invest all the time. I don't want to watch charts all the time. So I want to do it in like an hour a week. That's what we teach in our course in the description. But if you are in the smaller portfolio category, you do not get a day off. You have to do every strategy. You have to understand every part of Cardano. You need to be in all the discords, and you need to be paying more attention than people like me. If you are in the smaller portfolio category, I think you do need to get rid of your ADA, and you need to be in newer projects. You need to be in things like, I don't know if all these projects are going to be lasting good projects, but you need to look at Splash. You need to look at Sky. You need to look at, maybe buying some House of Titans NFTs and staking with strongholds and getting IAG that way. Or you need to look at new NFT projects like Frigid, or maybe even NFT projects that pay out. Or you need to look at like Nuvola staking. Or you need to look at the new Optim category of OADA, maybe staking your ADA there to get a higher percentage return. And the reality is, if you only got a couple $1,000s, you need to do all of these all at once, all the time, and you need to be in every conversation, watching on Twitter, watching on Discord, having your charts up, and like doing work that the majority of people will not do. I know a guy in Cardano today who is still trading NFTs and making, $10,000 every single, or 10,000 ADA really every season on JPEG Store. That's right now we're in the 4th season, and they're a consistently top leaderboard individual, and they just did it here in 2024, made their 10,000 ADA or 20,000 ADA just trading NFTs on offer collections and selling at floor prices. So it's a ton of work. They have to watch NFTs all day. They have to put, collection offers and sell things and change it and delist and relist, and it's work that I am not willing to do, but this individual is, and so they get 20,000 extra ADA. I personally would rather just grow my business and make 20,000 extra dollars that I can invest into ADA, but they have a different strategy. And if you are a smaller portfolio individual, you either need to find a way to make more money and invest more in ADA in order to hit the $1 million mark, or you need to do strategies that require more work that people like I will not do. So you need to just be informed on the ecosystem and informed on the ways to make money and paying attention to things more. I want to share one last story with you about people who have made millions in Cardano and what they're doing today. So I know this guy in Cardano who last cycle took $70,000 to $75,000 and turned it into $3 to $4 million just in Cardano last cycle in 2020 and 2021 and 2022. Okay, so right now what they're doing, my last conversation with them, is that they have rotated a lot of ADA into DeFi tokens. We're talking DEX tokens, lending tokens, DEX aggregators, infrastructure projects. The majority of what they're trying to do is recreate the same thing. And what they're doing is they're not really investing as much into ADA, they're putting it into the DeFi projects. So when you have someone like a high net worth individual in our high bucket, our first bucket category, who's simply not just investing in ADA, they're investing in the DeFi projects, the majority of us smaller investors should take note of that. And I think that is going to be the way that the majority of people become a Cardano millionaire. Some people are going to get lucky, get into a random meme coin and make $1 million overnight. Good for them. I prefer not to bet on that or chance on that or think that that's the way it's going to happen for me. I prefer to think of like, okay, I need to get $10,000 or $20,000. I need to be in the Cardano DeFi ecosystem, and I need to be in projects that have a good chance to 100x. That's the way that I think I will make a 100 or will be a millionaire off of Cardano, or at least a very high 100,000er. Okay, so those are the only 3 ways I see this thing working out for us in order to be Cardano millionaires. Again, down in the description is my 1-hour trading course, how I'm trading my Cardano tokens and kind of doing my investments, very, very long-term swing trading to become that Cardano millionaire that I want to be, all right? This is all the advice basically I would tell my 20-year-old version of myself. I'm just telling it to you now, all right? So if you're in Cardano, want to get a millionaire status, want to be a Cardano millionaire, figure out which bucket you're in, whether it's 1, 2, or 3, whether you got 50K, whether you got 10K, or whether you got 1K. There is a path for you. There's a way. And even if you don't make it to the 1 millionaire status just in Cardano, I think you'd still be pretty happy if you followed a lot of the plans and went to 250,000 or 500,000, and then next cycle you can invest 50,000 into Cardano ecosystem instead of just like 1,000. All right, that's how I'd become a Cardano millionaire. That's what I'm doing, and I'd be curious to learn if you're doing the same. Let me know down in the comments. Hope you have a great day. See you in the next video.